Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back once again to Fat Cat Collections. Today, guys, super excited to share with you guys a knife sheath. Now, you guys know that whatever I get my hands on, I tend to share in the channel. And I've been collecting knives for, really kind of my whole life, right? I've always liked a good knife. When I say good knife, I don't necessarily mean just the highest of quality. There's so many different brands out there. Like anything else, like anything made, us collectors can collect it, right? So, I collect a lot of different things. You guys know, mainly watches, cologne, that kind of thing. But I tend to be pretty obsessive with stuff. And one is just never really enough. Hence my newest cowboy boot addiction, now up to 13 or 14 or I don't know how many pairs now. And the cool thing about eBay is I always find great deals. I want to share with you guys, now let me just state, I don't have hundreds of knives like I do watches or cologne, but I do have a few different knives in my collection, and one of the knives I have is my Buck Special. I got this knife when I was, gosh, I believe a kid. So it's, pretty old. And it's something that I never really used. It's almost in mint condition. The only little scuffs on it are really just kind of on the back of the handle. But overall, the knife is perfect. It's never been used for anything. So as I've gotten older, I tend to... I still kind of, have that idea of really trying to maintain things and keep things as new as possible forever, hence the reason my cars look as good as they do is that I am pretty anal about the way that I take care of things. If I spend money on it or somebody spent money on it for me, I tend to really, again, put a lot of effort into not abusing the product, right? And so that's why I generally can make things last forever. So this knife is, brand new for the most part. You can see, there's no wear on it. I don't think this has ever been used for like anything. Maybe to cut a box open, that's about it. So I wanted to get something custom made for it. And so if you guys know my personality, I tend to be a little bit flashy when it comes to things. Not all the time, but I'm really into the exotic skins, whether it be snakeskin, alligator, leather. I really like all those different types of skins. Now, whatever your beliefs are when it comes to animals, I don't want this video to become like a debate area for that. I don't have pets. I don't have animals. I do believe in the proper treatment of animals. I'm not a guy who hunts, nor would I. The only thing that I really do is fish and crab, It's, again, I'm not trying to be a hypocrite. I do buy meat in the counter, and I understand where that comes from, but it's just kind of a personal thing. It's like out of sight, out of mind, Now, I don't believe in, killing something just for its skin, of course. I don't know, where this skin comes from, of course, but if we put all that aside, let's just talk about what it is. So this is a genuine goat skin sheath that's been skinned with genuine cobra. The gentleman that had make this for me specializes in custom knife sheets. I'm not going to give you a link to his listings or anything like that. He doesn't have this one on his listing. This was something I wanted to have made. And the reason I wanted to have this made was for the longest time, I've been looking for a sideways mount or horizontal mount knife sheath for, again, a very old Uncle Henry knife I got as a kid. So I wanted to be able to carry this, but I want something a little bit different. I do like the horizontal carry. A lot of times, depending on your body shape and stuff, I find that if you're carrying a large hunting knife like this towards the back, which is I think more of like Outback style or whatever they call it, I found a lot of times it's not really comfortable. It's always kind of overhanging. And what I like about I wear my clothes pretty fitted, right? So I don't have a lot of extra. This shirt's actually one of the few I have. It's a little bit larger, right? And it's not like a large shirt. So I do wear fitted jeans. Perfect example, I brought it up when it comes to my buddy carrying his 1911. He's really trim, but he wears large clothes. And so he always has the extra room to tuck that sucker in there. Whereas me, I generally prefer outside the waistband carry when it comes to a firearm. With this, I found that when I've looked at the other knife sheets and some of the Kydex ones I bought, whether they're, horizontal mount, a knife like this with a 6-inch blade, I believe it's like maybe 9, 10 inches overall, when you start wearing clothes like this and you're wearing things sideways on your belt, you can't hide them anymore. They look ridiculous. So although if you're going to tuck your shirt in and you're not really concerned with this sucker, being out in the open like that, not a problem. It's like a fashion piece too. But what I find is, for me personally, it always gets in the way. Whether I have it back here, I've tried horizontal mount on the back, and I just always find that whether I'm getting in my car, it just is always in the way. Now, a knife like this it's going to get in the way a little bit. So with this, again, it did come with the standard knife sheath, but I just want something a little bit easier to access and just a little bit different. So I stumbled upon this particular guy, and this was something he actually had listed, and I bought it. Absolutely love it. This is Cobra as well. This is actually designed for the Buck 110, but the Schrade Uncle Henry is pretty much identical in size and shape, so it fits perfect. It's just a friction fit, but it's not going to fall out or anything like that. I don't think it's it's not impossible for it not to fall out, but it's in there pretty good. And it gives me that cross draw ability, and it gives me the ability to it is kind of a fashion piece as well. To me, it looks really cool, but you could also cover it up as well, so it's not really out in the open. If you're tucking your shirt in, it looks cool. Looks like it's part of your belt. So after seeing the quality of this particular sheath, I wanted to get something for my Buck Special. The Buck Special sheath is a fantastic sheath. I've always found when it comes to knives, you can get all different kinds of knives off Amazon and eBay. The price, again, it's all over the board. But I found that when you get a Buck knife, you're generally getting a pretty nice sheath with it. But I wanted something just custom to match the other one. And again, I'm really into the exotic skins. What I find is when you're looking for exotic skins, it's really difficult to find stuff, especially stuff like this. So he didn't have this, but I said, hey, can you make one for the Buck Special with the Cobra? Use your recommendation on where to put that skin as far as wear. And so he came up with this. I absolutely love this sheath. I mean, the quality is amazing. Let me get a little closer. You can see super thick around the belt loop, triple rivets. You have your, in my case, I had my choice of what the button here on the, I guess the closure or the thumb brake. I chose just like kind of a Texas Star, pretty cool. Really nice thick construction, white stitching, which I actually asked him to do. He was probably going to use black. I said, hey, can you do white stitching? So I was really able to customize this however I wanted. Price point was amazing. I'm not going to tell you what it was because and it wasn't something done just for me. So if you are in the market for anything, when I first approached this gentleman, he wasn't really looking to, he kind of does this as a hobby, and he sells a few on eBay, which I always found kind of odd. Like, you're selling them, wouldn't you want more volume? But I think he's just kind of maybe retired, and he just does it, as a kind of a hobby, and he makes a little extra cash. Maybe that cash comes back to supply more of the skins. I'm not really sure about his business model. It's not really my business. What I do appreciate is the customer service and his ability to make really what I want. So if you are in the market for anything, let me know your ideas and plans, and I could probably hook something up for you. But this is really just a show and tell. So amazing, amazing construction. He can do it in, this is the Cobra, which matches as well, guys. My Cobra wallet, which, just so you guys know, I mean, I've gone through wallets over the years, and they all wear out, right? Eventually. But this has been the best wallet I've ever owned. And despite what you may think, sometimes you think about snakeskins and you're like, oh man, they can't be really all that durable. This wallet is over 6 years old. I mean, and it still looks almost as good as the day I got it. Like, it's absolutely incredible. So again, Cobra skin as well, pretty awesome. What I like about his sheets too is that he's obviously a guy who knows how to make this stuff. So the stitching is amazing. Again, I'm not a professional, so I couldn't tell you if it was good or bad. But from what I can tell, it looks of really high quality. He's obviously been doing this for a long time. And what I like too is when you find less expensive knives, so you might find a really cool knife that you really appreciate. Remember, these aren't rocket science, right? This is just a knife. I would never spend $300 on a knife, not when you get something like this for 60 bucks, and you get some of the less expensive ones for $25. But I will find a lot of times the sheath is inferior quality, right? You might be getting a decent knife, but a really crummy sheath. Another perfect example is my newest addition to my collection is kind of like these kind of kitchen deboning knives, or boning knives. Really cheap on Amazon. They super heavy construction. just I wanted something that I can just kind of beat on a little bit, right? Go out crabbing, cut bait with it, not too worry about it too much. This is kind of a little decorative, right? Again, don't, I know it's meant for it to be used, but the sheath that comes with those things is pretty terrible. What I find is that those sheets at the top of the blade, because that particular blade has such a, I don't know what you call it, but a really kind of a big sweep, it kind of starts to poke through the top of the sheath. And I actually cut myself on one of the cheaper ones. So he's going to make me a custom-made one for that. And what he does, he puts this plastic, I don't know if it's like a plastic or nylon, but this plastic-like insert inside the sheath. So you're not going to have any of those problems. Pretty awesome. I mean, now one thing I will point out, I know it's tradition to put, I shouldn't say tradition, but I know it's like customary to put the thumb break over the front of the knife, and I'm not sure why they put it on the front. And what I find in some knives I've had, without looking, if you put the knife back in the sheath, you might slice this particular thumb break. So I wish they put it on the other side. There's probably a reason it's on this side, but I haven't asked him why yet. But just keep in mind, if you are putting this back in your sheath, make sure, no matter what sheath you have, make sure you pull that back and you don't cut that and slice it right off like I did. So, but really cool. I mean, great snaps on these. Great snaps on these sheets. Amazing construction, super thick stitching, and how he does this is he actually takes the skin and he applies it to goat skin. So he takes the skin and he uses like a contact cement, and it allows him to really get a nice seal and to have this particular material adhere to the leather. I've used contact cement in the past. This is extremely sticky, and time will tell how well this lasts, but any indication, I mean, I assume that my wallet's done the same way. If it holds up like this, and this is something I use every single day, in and out of the pocket, it's held up just amazing. And so it's really a great material. Now, he does have, I believe, rattlesnake, I think python, alligator style. I don't know if it's actual genuine alligator, but also stingray. And I think the next collaboration I want to do with him is maybe to do something in kind of like a stingray, because that's a great material as well. The neat thing about it is that, any sheath that you really want, I believe, he can make for you. So if you have a sheath that, you're like, all right, well, I want to replace this particular sheath, you could send it to him, which is what I'm going to do with the boning knife, is I'm going to send him that sheath. He'll have an exact blueprint of what he needs to do, and he'll make a high quality sheath. And then those knives are like, you can get them for like $8. If you ever need to replace it, you'll always have a great high quality sheath to go with it. Amazing, guys. Now, I am looking at possibly having him, and if you guys are interested in any of this stuff, let me know. I'm always looking to try to collaborate with people. It's always kind of fun. I'm looking to have him try to skin a craft leather holster. That would involve removing, disassembling the holster and the stitching, restitching it. And the problem, he says, is snakes are only so wide, right? So generally the skins he gets are probably, the max size is probably this, opened up. So I don't know what that would be, maybe 4 inches. With a holster, generally they're a lot larger. But if you have a smaller holster, like for my Taurus Spectrum, that might work. So we'll see what happens. If Cobra is not the right skin for that, maybe Stingray. I'm not sure what size the hides are. But it's pretty incredible to have a guy on demand that can make me what I want. The other cool thing about it is I found that a lot of knives, when you get a sheath that comes with them, they always seem to have the belt loop higher up. And when you get boot knives, or a lot of the Kydex knives, the belt loop or the belt clip is down lower around I believe that's called, is it called the pommel? Around, I guess, the hand guard of the knife. What I like, and I had him lower this 1 inch per my recommendation, or per the spec I wanted, and I should have had him do it lower. What I like about it is that this doesn't ride as low. So if you are going to carry this, again, this is going to depend on the state you live. I don't know about the concealed carry where you may live, but when it comes to knives, there's, all this legal mumbo jumbo as far as what you can carry and your intent and all that stuff. Generally out in the open, if you're open carrying, I believe you're safe to do that. But sometimes you may not want to have this hanging so low. What I find when it comes to knives like this is that sitting down and getting in and out of the car, they generally will want to rotate, and you might want to, twist that into your seat. If it's a good quality sheath, you're not going to penetrate, you'll damage your car in any way. But I always find myself having to reach down and kind of tip up like this. If you have a knife, a sheath that actually connects to your belt at more of the middle portion of the knife, you're going to bring more of the knife up towards the upper portion of your body. Then it's easier to kind of conceal if you're going to, again, depending on your state. I wouldn't say that's completely concealed because you can see it, but it just kind of gets the knife out of the way. So you're getting in and out of the car, it doesn't just kind of grind into your seat and stuff. So I find the same thing when it comes to holsters. And an outside the waist holster, I always prefer a holster that's a high ride, but they're really hard to find, and I wish more people made them. But the high ride stuff is just, in my opinion, a lot better. When I had him make this, it was my first collaboration with him, and I had him lower that belt loop, but I didn't actually do enough research, and I should have looked a little bit more because I would have had him bring that all the way down. On the next one, I'll have him make that belt loop even with the top of the handguard. I also wanted him to, and it was too late after the fact, to put in a couple slits right here. And what that will allow you to do is get some Amazon belt clips. And if you want to use this as a boot knife, you could slide one of those heavy-duty metal clips in there and then use it as a boot knife, or just have it, again, clip on your belt. A perfect example of this is my new Gil Hibben knife that I did a review on. This is the mini version from the movie Expendables. This does have the belt clip, but to use this as a boot knife, because of the location of that clip, you can't. It goes too far into your boot, so it's really kind of useless. It is nice, though, to be able to clip this on off your belt. So sometimes you get home, you just want to relax, or you're going to sit down at your desk, whatever. It's nice to be able to just kind of pop this off and put it on the desk without having to take off your whole belt. So that would have been a really cool addition, and I think on the next one, I do want the ability to have it securely wrap around your belt, but also have the ability to put a clip in there. So I have to kind of think of the design and how he might do that. It might be better to have the belt loop and then maybe something, I don't know, maybe the slits, maybe have this pulled in a little further, maybe have a smaller loop that doesn't protrude out, because remember, if you have a clip on this, it's going to want to kind of like flare out from your body a little bit. Not 100% sure yet, still going to kind of think about the design, but it's pretty cool that he can make this how you want it, at least for me, and I assume probably you, but I really appreciate him. I'm not going to mention, like I said, he wasn't really looking to, when I asked to collaborate with him, I said maybe we'll work something out for video, for, you know, in exchange for, you know, a sheath. He wasn't really interested in really growing the business, and I think it's just kind of a fun hobby that he just kind of does, you know. So I don't think he wants to get 100 orders in. You know what I mean? He probably is a retired guy who just, like I said, does this just kind of as a hobby, and you know, and has more of like a one-on-one approach rather than like a mass appeal. So I'm really happy that I found the guy. I'm really happy that I'll be able to, you know, work with him on different projects. Just for me personally, I'm sure if depending, well, there's not 1,000 of you, but depending on, you know, if there's a few of you that might want to get something, let me know. I'll see what I can work out for you. But overall, amazing quality, and I'm sorry that I'm not going to link you to where you can find him, but we'll take that on kind of a personal one-on-one basis. I don't want to flood him with any kind of emails if that's not what he's looking for. So again, let me know. I'll run everything through through my guy if you're interested. Pretty awesome. I think it's pretty cool. I will state that this would have been pretty cool with like a black snakeskin of sorts. And, you know, this knife is such a nice knife that I'll probably end up getting different sheaths for it. I even thought about having him make something for my Hibben, which, again, the Hibben sheets are absolutely fantastic. They're really nice quality. But it would really be nice to have, you know, maybe something a little different. And this is a perfect example of the button on this, and I think, you know, I'm not sure. I'm going to bring it up to him. Again, the thumb brake on this is on the opposite side. So you bring the knife in, there's no chance of you actually nicking that. So I'm going to bring that up and ask him why he put it on this side. I thought maybe it was something that maybe was just kind of a defect, but from what I've seen by other knives, that seems like the standard place to put it. So next one I have, I'll definitely have him move it to the other side. I prefer it on the other side. And there's different ways you can do this as well. You can have it attached from the top of the handle. It just really depends. But how cool is to be able to get your own custom-made knife sheath? And I'll tell you, the price point is amazing on these, and it's not just something that he did for me, it's just what he charges. And again, I think it's just really a passion for what he's doing, which is really incredible. They're beautiful. I love it. It's a great addition to my collection, and like anything else, you know, all these kind of things are meant to stand out and accessorize. And you know, it may not be your cup of tea. You might just prefer something very basic and plain. That's fine. There's all kinds of options out there. But if you want something a little custom, which, you know, for my personality, I absolutely love, you know, pretty cool. I just wonder if he's able to produce like a watch strap, which, you know, if he can produce a knife sheath, he can make a watch strap, which would be pretty awesome to be able to have some replacement exotic straps for some of the big giant Invictas. Remember, guys, it's not easy to find 30mm watch straps. Not many people make them. So, I don't know, pretty cool connection to have. I'm looking forward to collaborating again. If you guys have any questions or comments, by all means, drop them on the comment section. Do subscribe to the channel. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a great evening and take care.